Hey, good morning. It's good to be back in the Lord's house this morning. I came over this morning to do a final test on our camera and to make sure that everything is going to work well for our service this morning. And just excited about what the Lord has in store for us. Excited about what the Lord is going to accomplish today as we gather back together. I want to encourage you, remember at 10:45, we'll be gathered for worship. Worship service is all we are having at the church this morning. We're going to continue to do our daily devotions, but this will be, the morning worship service will be the only one that we have gathered together besides our food ministries that we do on Wednesday night. I encourage everyone that would like to participate in that to come and help with that. We want to see that grow and see more and more people being blessed by that ministry that the Lord has blessed us with. But I'll post this as soon as I get back to the house. But our worship service this morning together, we're going to gather together this morning at 10:45, and we'll be doing worship service. We're also going to record it, and I'll be posting it today, and it will be available without no glitches. It'll be available at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So if you don't feel comfortable coming out just yet, and that's fine. We want you to be comfortable in the Lord's house. But if you don't feel comfortable coming out, you can still worship together with your church family at home. And if you don't attend, if you've been following us on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever, if you've been following us and worshiping with us through the pandemic, we will continue to do the same thing even as we gather back together. So I encourage you to take advantage of that. Our devotional today comes from Psalms 18:30. It says, "Perfect and flawless. As for God, His way is perfect. The Lord's word is flawless. He shields all who takes refuge in Him." If you're not ready to take refuge in God, He is ready to. If you are ready to take refuge in God, He is ready to protect you. Taking refuge in God means you are ready for God to answer your prayers whenever and however He thinks is best. When you look to God for help, you need to believe that His way is perfect and that His word is flawless. What would have happened in the story of Zachariah and Elizabeth if God had answered the request of a baby immediately? They would have gotten a sweet little boy they would have loved and cherished, but God had a plan. He delayed the request for a number of years before He gave them John the Baptist. When John grew up, his ministry prepared the people of Israel for Jesus. God's timing was perfect. Do you ask too little of God and want it too soon? If God answers your prayers exactly how you want it and according to your timeline, you'd end up shortchanged. His answers are much greater than your request. In fact, be thankful God hasn't answered every single one of your prayers the way you had hoped. Accept that God will answer your prayers in His time and in His way. If you want God's help, you need to ask for it. If you need to spend time reading the Bible. To know God's will in your life, you need to look at God's Word. Building your life on the truth will protect you from the harm that comes from the lies of the world. Your power and perspective is limited. That's why you need to trust God's way and His Word. They are perfect and flawless. You know, we have all been praying through the last several weeks. I think I'm not real good at keeping up with weeks, but I'm thinking this will be the 10th week since we have been, our lives have been turned upside down from this pandemic, and we have all been praying that it will be over soon. You know, God has a way in every area of our life of working it out for the best for us. I've been praying over the last several weeks, not that this would be over quickly, but that we would have a great awakening because of this. That God would move in a mighty way throughout our country, that God would move in a mighty way throughout our community, that folks would have a hunger to be back in God's house, to come together in worship together. That we would have a hunger to be here, not only to be here in the worship service, but to be here and actively involved in the ministry of the church. That we would come back to a time of a sense of community, that the church was the focal part of the community. Why? Because when we had emergencies, when we had celebrations, and I was getting ready this morning, and I was putting on my clothes, and I got thinking, I felt kind of like a kid again at Easter. I put on my brand new shirt, my brand new pair of blue jeans, my brand new shoes. I mixed them in with some old socks and stuff like that, but I was excited this morning because we're coming back together as a church. And I remember as a child the excitement of Easter and the celebration and seeing all your friends and a church full of people and homecomings and such as that. I pray that we will, through this, and God will work a miracle, and that we will have a revival throughout our communities, and that the church will be the most important thing in our lives. I say the church, but that Jesus would be the most important thing in our lives. When He's most important, the church is most important, and the needs and the lives of others is more important. I hope you have a great day. I hope you worship with us today. And I just pray that God will bless you truly today, and that God will encourage you today. It's going to be another beautiful day. I pray for all my preacher friends that are preaching today, and I just pray that God will be glorified in His house today. You have a great day.